Welcome to the Play-Based Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Kristen R.B. Peterson, and maybe your new teacher bestie that is here to hype you up, maybe give you a motivating kick in the pants, and teach you all I know about play and childhood. I am here to help you challenge old and outdated practices and inspire you to create a truly developmentally appropriate early childhood environment that fosters creativity, curiosity, and joy in the children that you care for. Let's set the stage for a lifelong love of learning. Let's get going. The beautiful Prerna Richards is joining me again on the Play-Based Learning Podcast. We didn't finish our conversation last time we recorded together, so I invited her back on so that we could talk about behaviors that pop up when there is an absence of play. And I think that this is really applicable to a lot of teachers, early childhood teachers, elementary school teachers in traditional spaces, and especially in like the industrialized school system, because there is an absence of play. And so a lot of teachers are really struggling. They really struggle with behaviors. And I know that it's because there's not enough play and things are not really being done in a developmentally appropriate way in those spaces, but they maybe don't know that because they haven't been privy to that information before. So that's what we're going to chat about.
Yes. Hello. I'm so happy to be back here. Thank you, Kristen.
You're welcome. I just totally commandeered that whole entire introduction and didn't even let you say anything.
It's all good.
Okay, so let's just dive into it. When there's an absence of play, behaviors escalate, right?
Yeah, simply put, yes.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about the why.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, why is play important? And then maybe we can also unpack what is authentic play.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about why. We're just totally making this up right now.
We are.
So why do behaviors increase when there's absence of play?
Mm-hmm.
I think the most obvious reason that I've seen this happening is because the grown-ups get stressed out, the children get stressed out, and there's no way to let out the steam.
Yeah.
Play happens to be a natural way that children can process what's bubbling inside them.
Yeah.
And when you take play away, so I want to talk about authentic play, because I think there's a misunderstanding, and you touched on it, that the traditional school ISD systems and also the very, let's just call it very structured environments. Let's just call it that, because it doesn't even have to be ISD. It could be anywhere, right?
Yeah.
It could be anybody. I think what happens is most educators think they're doing center time and they're allowing free play. But what really ends up happening is it becomes a very controlled situation.
Yeah.
The grown-ups are controlling, and when the grown-ups are controlling the movement of the kids, stay in the dramatic area, don't go in the library, don't, like, the controlling of the movement, the controlling of the toys, because I know every time I talk about behaviors, the constant thing is, but the kids keep moving the toys and keep moving, but you're the one stressing them out. Stop.
Yeah.
So they control the movement, they control the toys, they control the play. And I think it backfires because then it becomes like a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is just exploding all the time because there's no give and there's no let. So let's just talk about this word authentic play, right? What is this authentic play, and what is the role of the grown-up in this authentic play?
Yeah. Okay.
You know, traditionally, when we were growing up, we had a lot of downtime, we had unstructured time, we played outside, we did our thing.
Yeah.
As old as I am, nobody was following me around with the camera and uploading stuff, right? I was doing things. Now that's missing. Now children are in our programs for 6 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And they need some outlet. Authentic play does not mean chaos.
No, it doesn't. I think that's a huge misconception. Like, and I always forget to go back and circle around to that. Like when I teach people about play, then they're always like, but it's so wild and chaotic. And I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to tell you that. I forgot to tell you that part. It's not wild and chaotic.
It is totally not wild and chaotic, because nobody can learn in wild and chaotic. And so that's the first myth, right? If it's child-led, it's child-directed, then it's chaos. No, 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 it's not. That's where the chaos is coming. That's where the behaviors are coming, right?
Yeah.
So authentic play is the children are deeply interested in something
Yeah.
and you're giving them some time to go deeper with it. You're giving them some time to explore with it. But what happens is with our schedules and with our controlling grown-ups, they're constantly telling kids, this is the language I hear all the time. Oh, this is, by the way, the new thing that I'm hearing right now. I don't know where this new guidance policy came
Oh
from,
no, I
but
don't know if I'm gonna like this.
I don't even know if you've heard this, but this is something I'm hearing constantly right now. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Oh, I heard,
No, thank you.
yes, I hate that.
It is so passive aggressive. What are
Oh
you
my
doing?
gosh.
You're yelling across the room.
No,
First,
thank you. I know. I,
you heard it.
yes, I've heard
So,
it. I probably used to do it in my traditional teaching days because I probably learned it from somebody else. I know for a fact there's a teacher at the school that I founded who still continues to do it sometimes.
okay, let's talk about that for a minute because this is how we are constantly interrupting play. This is how we're constantly interrupting the flow, right? So, this is what was happening. This is why it's on my heart right now. You know me, I'm too spontaneous. I just know what happened last week in the school, right?
Same.
So,
Yeah.
so I was in a classroom and it happened in every single classroom of this school, toddler teacher, preschool teacher, pre-K. The children were taking toys from the dramatic and they were walking across to the library and they had their hands full and they were taking, and the teacher's sitting across the room and she says, no, thank you. No, thank you. The kids don't even know you're talking
No,
to them. They
no.
have no there's no connection that this no thank you was for me. So they continue doing what they're doing. Now she's getting ramped up because she's
Mhm.
already said no thank you so many times and nobody's listening to her and nobody's respecting her. So she's getting all vamped up, right? And so her voice is escalating. And as she's trying to control them with the voice, the kids finally who hear them backlash and they say, no. And now the behavior starts,
Yeah.
right? So you first interrupt the play, you're stopping the discovery. And then on top of that, this no thank you is absolutely serving no purpose because the child that you're yelling across the room for doesn't know that no thank you was meant for them.
Yeah.
And also, they don't know what you're no thanking them for.
Yeah.
So here's a strategy, right? So if you're listening and you have teachers doing this, encourage them. Or if you're a teacher, walk over to the child, make eye contact, and talk to them. But before you tell them what not to do, ask them what they're doing. And this is
Oh,
a magical sentence that can change how you talk to children. I notice. So instead of just jumping to don't do that, start making your brain doing. I noticed you walked across the room with some toys. What are you doing? Tell me what you're doing. And the child will probably tell you, I'm building this and I'm doing this. And that might give you some insight into what they're doing. They're not destroying your classroom. They're not.
no. No, they're not. And what, and
Play.
also toys can travel.
Yes, toys can travel, children can move, play can happen. So, do you see how we're controlling the play? And do you see why the behaviors are happening as a pushback? Because all day long, this grown up wants compliance
Yeah.
all day long. And I think this is at the heart of it, Kristen. When there's absence of play, when children don't have time to explore, experience, and go deep in whatever discovery they're trying to make, because this grown up wants compliance and this grown up is controlling everything. They're so sick and tired of all this control that then the behaviors show up. I think that is at the
Absolutely.
heart of it.
Yeah. Well, and I also feel like when we're in these very structured controlling environments, you're moving children from thing to thing to thing to thing, and they don't have like time to
Yeah.
like play, of course, but also they're they don't have any choice over
Yeah.
anything. And when people don't have choice over anything, they get stressed out. It's more anxious, anxiety ridden. It's
Also frustration. So yes, it's
yes,
anxiety, but it's also frustration. But think about it for yourself. Here's the deal, guys. We are doing things and saying things to children that you wouldn't do to another grown-up. How
absolutely.
would you feel if you were enjoying your favorite hobby and somebody kept saying, okay, now it's time to put it away. Okay, now it's time to clean up.
Yeah.
The schedules in our programs are like conveyor belts.
Yeah.
We are not raising chickens, we're raising children with brains. We cannot we cannot have such tight schedules. You know,
No.
one of the things that I've done with schools that I've worked with that were having high behaviors, slight tweak to their schedule. So instead of having 2 outdoor times, they have now created 3 outdoor times.
Mm-hmm.
And this pre-K classroom, there were 12 boys and 2 girls, and the noise level was up here. You can't see my hand, but it's way up
Way
here,
up.
like way up here. And the slightest tweak they made was they let the children go out on the playground before circle time in the morning. So
Oh,
circle time would start at 8:30. They started letting the kids go out from 8:20 to 8:30 just to run around. And do you know what? Drastically changed the circle.
interesting.
One small tweak, because the children had some freedom to just be.
Yeah.
And really, we have to do early childhood differently right now. We cannot continue doing what we're doing. The stress levels are way too high for
Yeah.
grown-ups and for the children. I'm also worried about the teachers. They are so burnt out.
Oh my
They're
gosh, yeah.
so burnt out. And you know the definition of burnout, right?
No. What is it?
So I just recently came across this that caught my attention. So the burnout factor happens when you feel like you're giving out more than you're getting back.
Okay. Yeah.
Burnout could happen in a relationship, burnout could happen with an employer, burnout could happen for anything. So if you feel like my output is more than my input
Yeah.
from that organization or that person, burnout will start.
Interesting.
Isn't it
Huh.
fascinating? And so
Yeah.
the more control that the grown-ups are doing, the more they feel stressed out in their jobs, the more they feel like the management's not helping, administration is not helping. I'm doing so much and I'm exhausted and nobody can help. And these kids are just out of control and parents aren't helping. Like throw everybody in the pot, right? Just throw everybody there.
Well, okay. And then kind of backing up to like the busy schedule, the moving from thing to thing to thing. I think that in those traditional spaces, those more controlling spaces, the structured spaces, there's such a focus on teaching at children that like we forget that they actually have needs. Like, and that all, behavior is telling like, hey, I have needs that aren't being met. Like, help me
So
out here.
behavior, yeah, so behavior is a form of communication, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are the children communicating?
Yeah.
What are grown-ups communicating? But I want to piggyback on something you just said that sparked my thought. You know, we're so busy with the concept of we have to teach, we have to teach, we have to drill and kill, and you have to sit and get. I want to remind everybody, be careful with what you're teaching. It may interfere with what they're learning,
Oh, interesting.
right? So let's be careful with what we're trying to teach, what is our agenda,
Yeah.
versus what the children are interested in learning,
Yeah.
because that's led by them through play.
Yeah.
If you follow their interest, you can have more neural connections than you could ever have with any teach strategies. Of
Hmm.
course, we have to teach, but the teach has to be through play.
Yeah.
It's all through play, because if it's sit and get and drill and kill, so yeah, be careful with what you're teaching. It may interfere with what they're actually trying to learn.
Absolutely. That's a good thought. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah,
It's very
right.
true.
But it's true, right? It's so true, because I think the teachers have this concept, I have to teach. No, you don't actually have to teach. If you're available, the learning will happen because they're born capable and intelligent. They're eager to learn. You can't stop the learning from happening. Your
Yeah.
job as a teacher is to bring new discovery, new exploration, and they will do it through play. You bring new materials in your classroom, they will discover how to use it. You bring new concepts, let them use their imagination, and learning will explode and the behaviors will decrease.
Yes. And then you have time to meet their needs along the way. So like you're like
Yeah.
paying attention to like who's hungry and who's thirsty and who's tired and who needs a hug and all of those things. And when you can like cue in on some of those things, a lot of behaviors dissipate as well.
Yeah. So you have the time to meet their needs, but
Mhm.
you also have the time to enjoy being with them. And
Yes.
did you know that joy is the emotion of learning? Did you know that?
I did not.
So much learning happening today.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Yes, there is. Okay.
So,
Joy
so
is
think
the,
about
say it
this.
again.
Yeah. So joy is the emotion of learning. Your brain can be stressed and joyful at the same time. When
Huh.
you're joyful, your brain is going to learn without even you trying. because your brain is excited about something. Think about it.
Interesting.
When you love to do something, you are so into it, you
Oh,
figure it
yeah.
out, you learn it, you just go with it, you can't stop the learning. Joy happens to be the emotion of learning. Stress is the opposite of joy, and the brain can't have both. It can have stress and joy at the same time. It's two contradicting emotions. We are not designed like that. We can't comprehend two contradicting emotions. And so, yeah, when you allow children to play, behaviors will reduce, learning will happen, there'll be joy in the classroom, and you can enjoy being there instead of being
Mhm.
stressed being there. But I do want to clarify the role of the grown up in this, because
Yeah, tell me.
learning can just happen. I've had teachers say, "So you just want me to sit back?" And this literally happened on Saturday. I was doing a training, and this teacher, she said, "So you just don't want me to say anything? You just want me to sit back?" And I said, "No, absolutely not. I don't
Yeah.
want you to do that at all. I want you to be present, but I want you to be respectful of the play. Wait for the invitation for them to invite you into play, and then follow their lead.
Yeah.
Don't hijack the play, don't take it away. Just follow their lead and be present. But you got to be present. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'll just, make my laundry list right now, right? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. It doesn't. And like, I think a lot of play-based, so I think of like a play-based facilitator, educator as a hummingbird teacher. So like there's the hummingbird teacher and the helicopter teacher. And helicopter teacher is like that loud presence. It's like I have to teach you everything and I have to fill your brain with everything and I'm here and you're going to know I'm here and I'm controlling the whole entire situation. Nobody can do anything because it's just a hovering loud presence. But a hummingbird teacher is like, there all the time. And you don't know they're there half the time until something happens and you have to like flutter in and listen and say, do I need to help out with this social situation? Or they got this. And then you flutter out if you're not needed. You like quietly help, solve the problems,
I
talk through
love
things.
that. I
And
hadn't
then,
heard of the
yeah. Oh, I
comparison
made
between
that
the
up.
helicopter.
I
I
made that
love
up.
it. I love it. Those are my favorite analogies, the made up ones, right? The helicopter and the hummingbird. It's such a contrast, right? The
Yeah.
helicopter makes such a noise, and the hummingbird, if you blink, you'll miss them because
Yeah.
they're so,
Yeah.
But I also think it's I mean, piggybacking on this concept of being present without taking over, I think grown-ups are just programmed to taking over. And I think we have to work very hard to change our mindset, because
Yeah.
our pace is so much faster and children's pace is so much slower. And for allowing the children the space to lead the learning, this old phrase, right? More is caught than taught. You heard that phrase, right?
I
It's
don't
old.
think so.
Yeah, more is caught than taught. It's kind of going along with your hummingbird helicopter
Yeah.
thing. You more can be caught than taught if you can just be a little bit, take a step back.
Yeah.
You had your childhood, they haven't, is
Yeah.
their childhood.
Yeah.
But also, I think that all of this is connected. So I want to keep going back with what is your role as a grown-up then?
Yeah.
Because grown-ups are always confused. Like, if I let the kids do what am I
Yeah.
doing? Tell me what to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that self-regulation, right? So self-regulation is a common word, social emotional word, but most people don't know what it is.
Absolutely
So,
right. Yes.
right? So self-regulation has three parts. What am I feeling? What caused it? And how can I help myself? Before a child can master self-regulation, the grown-up can be co-regulating them beautifully. You look frustrated. What happened? You can't fix the puzzle? Okay, take a deep breath. Maybe we can do this together, right? The
Mhm.
more we bring this vocabulary, and the kids can do it through play. So the best way to teach children self-regulation is to do music and movement and games with follow the leader,
Okay.
right? Because follow the leader, you have to listen to the grown-up.
Yeah.
Instead of barking orders at them all day, do it through play. And
Yeah.
they're so used to listening to you that when you need them to listen to you for real, there's a human connection.
Yeah.
Instead of just correct, 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 you're actually connecting before you correct,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
right? The more you connect, the less you correct. And
Okay.
so you are actually connecting with that little human. And so this is what it sounds like different, right? So staying with the self-regulation theme. Um, children are all just getting antsy and upset and, jumping up and down, and maybe breakfast is late. And if you were a regulated teacher yourself, because you can't regulate somebody else if you're dysregulated, if you're getting antsy, you're no good.
Mhm.
Can't. So if you're a regulated teacher, you could call it out and you could just be like, I noticed the breakfast is running late. You guys are getting antsy. Let's do some finger play. Let's do some music and movement while it comes, right? So I'm calling it out instead of just letting them feel it, but not have a label for it. So that's the role you can play as a grown-up. Bring it to life for them through play. Let's play freeze dance. I can see that you guys are really ramped up right now. The noise level is so high. I'm going to put on some music and we're going to do the freeze dance. But remember how the freeze dance goes. When the music turns off, you got to stop your body. That's self-control.
Yeah.
Right? So playing games is the way how we can help children regulate what they're feeling.
Definitely.
Absence of play brings the stress in.
Yeah.
Because you're wound up.
A lot of times I hear people, they're like, well, we teach self-regulation through circle time. We need to teach children to sit still and keep their hands to themselves so they can do that in kindergarten. And so they think that teaching self-regulation happens through making children sit still.
It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
No, that doesn't happen.
Also, the sentence, we have to get you ready for kindergarten. I have a problem with this sentence because if you
I do too. Prerna, the title of my book is I'm Not Getting Them Ready for Kindergarten.
I love it. Are you actually writing that book? That's happening. No, but look, this is what it is. If 2-year-old teachers, if infant teachers know that I just need to give you the best care when you're infant, when you're 18 months and 2 years old, I know you will be ready when you're 5.
Yeah.
So you're ruining the present and the future doesn't exist. So they have no foundational skills. They have no self-regulation skills. And self-regulation, by the way, does not happen on circle time with force and krill. The more you focus on compliance, the more they're going to push back.
Yes. Yes. It's so true.
You have to lean in with play. So play, play, play. Play freeze dance. Play red light, green light. Play statue. Play these games. Play the games and you will help their brains to know how to self-regulate. I mean, this is also a crazy thing, right? Have you heard people telling you, just calm down, take a deep breath? When has anybody calmed down when somebody said to calm down? I never have.
No, it makes me
I'm just
more
like,
angry.
Don't tell me to calm down. That's my reaction.
Yeah, same.
Don't tell me to calm down is my reaction.
Yep.
This word, I don't know where it came from. Calm down. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Not at all. It doesn't work at all. Dr. Cindy Hovington, she talks about how we are like on an emotional mountain. When you're on an emotional mountain and you tell somebody to calm down, like
it doesn't work.
Like you're not calming down.
I think the opposite happens. It actually gets you more irritated and more frustrated if somebody tells you, so what can you do? Again, because I'm always thinking about the teachers asking me, but what should I do then? Okay, here's my acronym for you. SBA. When the behaviors are ramping up, SBA yourself. Stop, breathe, and anchor yourself before you say anything or do anything. And when I'm in classrooms doing classroom management, I literally, this word management, that's another whole topic.
I know. Yeah.
But when I'm doing that, I'm literally counting back 10, 9, 8. I'm counting from 10 to 1 to regulate myself. Before I say or do anything, I have got to calm myself down. SBA yourself.
I love that.
It's a game changer, right? Because here's the deal with self-regulation. You model self-regulation, you don't teach self-regulation.
Yeah.
So if you're dysregulated and you're yelling, what the children are learning is when you get irritated, this is how you handle it.
Yeah. Interesting. It's very true.
It is true, right? It is so true. And play is so beautiful when children are allowed to. So think of new things for them to explore, new things for them to experience, and new things for them to discover every day. Yeah. What is your new discovery today? And I promise you the behaviors will be reduced.
Yeah.
Have a discovery table. Bring something from your house, your garage, your kitchen. I don't care. Put something on that put a little cover on it, and they'll be all curious. What do you have in here? I don't know. We can wait and see. Like, make the intrigue about it, right? And then you have them hook, line, and sinker in there, and you're going to do the discovery together. That's where you should use your brain, not controlling them, because that's going to.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
mean,
what are your thoughts on like whole class rewards? Like, so I think this is just on my heart right now because my son, who's 9, he, a few weeks ago, his gym teacher told them that they all had to run the mile and that if everybody showed improvement, that the whole class would get popsicles. And Knox was sick the day of the mile and he didn't run. And so he's running it today. And he's like, it doesn't even matter how I do anyway, because 5 people already didn't do better. So we don't get popsicles anyway. And I was like,
smart boy.
yeah, I mean, like that's what you're gonna get if you give
Yeah.
full class rewards like that.
The bribes, punishments, and threats don't work.
They might be a band-aid for like a short period of time, like to get it's like
But
coercion.
they
It's like
don't teach life skills. They don't
no,
motivate. They don't teach life. And your son is spot on. Like, he doesn't even see the point in this.
no. He's like, I could just walk the whole thing because I don't
He
even
doesn't
get
even
a
see the
popsicle
point. So,
anyway.
and I think children are so smart, because if they don't see the why behind something, if they don't see the understanding behind something, and even grown-ups, I feel like many teachers is like, I don't understand why I have to do that. And if as an administrator you want them to do something and they don't understand the why, like your son is clearly saying, I don't see the point of this. I don't see
Yeah,
the why. So yeah, all class bribes, all class threats, all group collective something
yeah,
is really hard, because somebody, I get the concept of collectivity versus individual. You're encouraging team support, and you're encouraging this collaborative, cohesive environment, but there's better ways of doing it. Um, have you
do
heard
you,
of the
can I,
kindness tree? Have you heard of the kindness tree?
no, I haven't.
Oh, okay. So the kindness tree is a good concept if you want to encourage kindness in your classroom. So you have a tree, make it out of butcher paper, make some branches, and
Yeah, yeah,
make something, and then cut out a whole bunch of hearts. If you really have time in front of Netflix, just cut out a whole bunch of hearts. And then and once you find the kids doing something good, and just have a basket of hearts there. And if you find the kids doing something good, call it out. I noticed you were being a kind friend. I noticed that you actually helped your friend. Like, describe what they did, right? The paper fell down, you picked it up for your friend. Your friend was opening the door, you helped. Like, describe what their kindness was. Let's go put a kindness heart. And let's count our kindness hearts at the end of the day. Let's count our kindness hearts at the end of the week. And what would you guys like as a treat? Because we filled our tree with kindness hearts. But ask them, would you like an extra story time? Would you like some cuddle time? Would you like to bring your lovies to school? Like, nothing to go out and buy, but something that gets them excited. Or would you like an extra recess, or whatever it is, gets them excited, right? But
yeah,
now linking it to something, but that's collective. I'm encouraging everybody in the classroom, but I'm not penalizing if you're not.
yeah,
The way
yeah.
your son's teacher did it was the
Hmm.
opposite. There was a penalty if everybody didn't do it. But how
Right,
about we flip it? How about the reward is because it's good for everybody, not penalizing nobody.
right. And do we even necessarily need a reward? Can't it just be like we're just being kind?
We're just being kind, but
Yeah.
it
And I
just, and
think,
we just count our hearts that we've been kind, and maybe we can
yeah,
keep track that this week we had this many hearts, and next week now we've got math woven in, but it's all in
yeah,
a playful manner.
yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, the rewards and the punishments, they just get me. Like he also said that this was yesterday, he just told me that his science teacher gives out Jolly Ranchers to kids who are being good. And he's like, I'm good all the time. And I've only gotten one Jolly Rancher all year. So I don't know what she needs for good.
I can't say. My granddaughter is 11, and she's telling me, because she has two subject teachers, and the math and the science teacher, Ava knows that her teacher doesn't like her,
Hmm.
because this teacher came from college and she's not used to teaching 11-year-olds. So her expectations are different. And Ava's a high achiever. She picks up on the nuances of how people are feeling about her. And so
Yeah.
she feels that this teacher doesn't want her to succeed.
Hmm.
Think about that.
So
Children
sad.
absorb this, but children absorb this, right? So
Yeah.
children know if this grown up likes me or doesn't like me. They know if I'm setting you up for success or failure.
Yeah.
They know, and they can't learn from somebody that they know that this
Yeah.
person like me. No learning can happen if that grown up doesn't like you.
Absolutely.
So this Jolly Rancher teacher, whatever she wants from your son is feeling like, I can't give it to you because you never see my good.
Yeah.
It's the same idea, right?
Oh, it
What
breaks
do
my
you think?
heart. Just breaks my heart because he's just
Oh,
such a kind
yes.
kid. And then he just is like, he says
Same.
that the kid sitting next to him always talks and is like, interrupts me while I'm doing my work. And then he got a Jolly Rancher and I
Unfair.
didn't.
And that's the emotion of unfair, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the other reason behaviors are happening in the classroom, because children know when you're being unfair.
Yeah.
When you're being unfair, oh my goodness, there was a little girl we were coaching the other day, and I'm just going to call her a different name. I'm just going to call her Abby, because she had very ramped up behaviors. She would
Yeah.
get very aggressive and she'd get really violent and defiant, and really this rage would flow through her. And when I started digging with the teacher, I was like, what is at the underneath? Underneath, it was unfairness. It
Hmm.
was unfairness. The
Interesting.
emotion of unfairness was engulfing her. And so now we're working with recognizing that she gets triggered by unfairness. And so
Hmm.
she's 4 years old.
Hmm.
And so now the teacher is aware of this and she calls it out. Oh, did that feel unfair to you? Tell me why it felt unfair. And do you know what?
Okay. Yeah.
And in a week, the behaviors have changed. In a week.
Interesting.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
The emotion of unfair can really engulf you.
Wow. Yeah, it can. Interesting. Oh my gosh. We always have such like good conversations. There's always so
I
many like nuggets
know.
of gold that spill out of your mouth. I just want
Oh,
to write them all down.
you're so kind. And these are all spontaneous. I don't know what the plan was, but this is where we went.
Well, we did. Well, I mean, we kind of had a plan. We kind of followed it, I think. We
Yeah, I
had
know.
like lots of really good stuff. Okay, Prerna, tell people where they can find you and like where they
Thank
can
you.
connect with you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, togetherwegrow.online is my website. I'm on social media, Instagram, Facebook. I also have a YouTube channel. If you like these nuggets, I'm trying to create 5 to 7 minutes videos on the
Amazing.
YouTube. All about the brain, all about the behavior. Subscribe. I'm just one person.
Amazing.
Support me. I would appreciate it.
That's amazing.
Uh,
What's your YouTube channel called?
Together we grow 108, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's the
Oh,
same symbol, the same logo.
okay.
So if you find it, yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Prerna, for being
Thank
here and sharing your wisdom and sharing your heart with us. I always
thank you,
appreciate
Kristen,
you
for
and
this
the words
opportunity.
that you share. So thank you.
Thank you. It's always fun to come and hang out with you. Let
Mm.
me know if you want to play again.
Okay, I will. If you liked what you heard today, share this podcast with your coworkers, admin, or maybe even your partner. And I love getting 5-star reviews so more people can embrace play. Hit follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Or connect with me on Instagram or my website, KristenRBPeterson.com. Until next time.